Manny Pacquiao is set to collide with Errol Spence on the 21st of August for a welterweight unification fight. Where did this one come from? I don't know whether I just took my eye off the ball when regarding boxing news or whether this has actually just come out of the blue. So it was announced a couple of days ago that this fight's going to happen. And yeah, I mean, good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I think talk about going for greatness. You know, Manny Pacquiao's already solidified a Hall of Fame all-time great career, and yet he still wants more. So, you know, credit to him. Credit to Errol Spence as well. I think he's kind of come under a lot of criticism over the past few years, or past couple of years rather, because the Terence Crawford fight hasn't been made, and you know, that's the fight we all really want to see. But you know, you can't grumble at a Manny Pacquiao fight. It makes sense as well, seeing as Manny Pacquiao is a champion, and he's kind of like the grandfather of the division. You know, he seems to be respected by everyone, and I mean, rightfully so. He's earned the respect. He's been around for years across multiple weight divisions, and whenever people seem to feel like he's on his last legs, he proves them wrong. But when it comes to this fight, you know, there's a lot of context that has to be taken into consideration. Obviously, there's the massive size difference that's between Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. But also, Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought since July 2019 when he beat Thurman for the WBA Super title. Yeah, whatever that means. But yeah, come the time of this fight in August, it would have been 25 months, I believe. So over 2 years. And Pacquiao at 42, that's not going to help him at all. But on the flip side, you also have Errol Spence coming back from his that brutal car accident that he was in, that he was lucky to survive, let alone, you know, come away with all his you know, functions and faculties. He, of course, fought Danny Garcia in December last year. Didn't look like vintage Errol Spence, but, you know, that's to be expected. And given the circumstances, he looked pretty good. A little stiff in the legs, but, you know, after a car accident of that level, you know, it's really quite fortunate. So yeah, there is that context, and you know, this early on, I am tempted to, you know, give Pacquiao a bigger chance than most. And I think, look, I'm not necessarily trying to say that I'd pick Pacquiao to win, but I certainly think that if he is going to beat Errol Spence at any point in time, surely this would be the time to beat him. You know, Pacquiao hasn't fought in a while, but has he really taken that much damage recently in fights? You know, it's not like he's coming off a brutal defeat in recent years. I know he lost to Jeff Horn in 2017, but I don't think he was, you know, beaten up and that knocked years off his career. And, you know, Hatman's mentioned this about how Pacquiao is, you know, when he fights, he's a lot more reserved. You know, he's not the what do they used to call him? The Mexicutioner. You know, he hasn't been the Mexicutioner for a long time, and you know, I think that's preserving him. You know, he fights hard when he has to fight hard, and he still finds a way to win these fights. And so I think I am tempted to say Pacquiao has a good chance. I just feel like it's you know, they're kind of coming into the fight, you know, with the best chance of beating each other. You know, Errol Spence has a good chance of beating Pacquiao because Pacquiao's layoff. Pacquiao has a good chance of beating Spence because of Spence's accident. You know, so I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a good one, and you know, whoever wins will of course unify the WBC, IBF, and WBA belts. Brings them one step closer to undisputed, and hopefully afterwards we can see, you know, the winner face Terence Crawford. And I think most people are going to be hoping that it's Errol Spence, because of course, you know, it's kind of the new generation of welterweights. As I say, as people know, Manny Pacquiao's been around for a long time, and they probably want to see him sail off into the sunset after giving his last good performance. So yeah, I'm going to have to study this fight and really, really pin down who I think is going to win. I think maybe I'm thinking way too much about this, and everyone's just going to be screaming. It's like, of course, this is an Errol Spence win. Or maybe some people are adamant that it's going to be a Manny Pacquiao win. We'll see in the reactions. But yeah, I think it's a good fight. Kind of out of the blue, but I'm pleasantly surprised. So yeah, bring this one on. If you guys want to talk about it, just drop a comment in the comment section. Yeah, man. In a few months' time, we'll be watching this fight. So yeah, exciting times, and kind of makes up for the fact that the Fury Joshua fight has fallen through. You know, seeming to get some good fights off the back of it. And of course, there was the Taylor Ramirez fight, which the review of which will be up before this. So have a watch of that. Yeah, you know, the weird world of boxing. You get Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. Maybe not that weird in the grand scheme of things, but certainly caught me off guard. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk about this fight and we'll break it down closer to the time.